What's up, guys? It's Dan from Coin Bureau Trading, back at it again with another crypto market update. Today we've got XRP, Stellar, and Hedera. I'm sure you're all wondering what these three cryptos are up to. How high are they going to pump? Why is XRP pumping? Are Hedera and Stellar going to follow suit? Spoiler alert, I think that they are. If this is the kind of content that you enjoy, then be sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ping that notification bell. Before we get started, guys, do keep in mind that nothing in this video is financial advice. It's just my personal crypto trading strategy. It's my personal analysis of these cryptos. What you see in the charts, your analysis could be completely different. And honestly, guys, if it is, that's awesome. That means that the better traders and the better investors we're going to become, the more difference of opinion that we have. Kind of fumbled the explanation there, but you guys know how it be. Anyways, so starting off, guys, here, of course, we have to ask ourselves, why is XRP pumping and why could it continue pumping? Of course, that's because Ripple is going to be launching the RLUSD stablecoin later today. I'm shooting this, of course, on Tuesday, early morning. For those of you who are watching in the US, you'll probably be seeing this. Those of you who rise early in the morning, 6 a.m., 7 a.m., you'll probably be seeing that around this time. And later today, Ripple will be launching the stablecoin, and it should be a pretty big catalyst for XRP. I think it's going to be pretty huge, guys, because the charts definitely suggest that it could be. So what we're looking at here, guys, is a potential move to $4. But let me just break everything down. First things first is that we're on the daily chart here. XRP is going to need to break above this $2.75 resistance level, so $2.75. It needs to break above that first before we can start getting excited about this $4 target. I do think that the move, because of the stablecoin that's going to be launching, I do think that move will probably take us to that resistance level. Whether it gets us above is another question entirely. I think it depends on what happens in the coming days. But my base case would be that yes, that XRP will get above that resistance level and we'll be going for that $4 target. And of course, the question is, how do we get that target? Very simple, guys. We just take the starting point of this most recent move. We basically see, okay, like roughly where did this move start? Of course, it was around $1.50, so $1.50. The resistance, where prices kind of topped out, is quite clearly somewhere around $2.75. The difference there is $1.25. So all we do is we take the resistance and we add the difference, and that gives us a target of $4. And of course, if we do see rejection, just do keep in mind that XRP could fall as low as $2, maybe even slightly below. As you can see here, there was a little bit of a fall earlier this month. XRP briefly fell below this $2 support, but it seems to be a pretty clear area where a lot of XRP holders are accumulating, or XRP whales probably are accumulating. So just do keep that in mind, that if there is a failure to break above this resistance level, then XRP could fall down to that $2 support. But I do think that the risks are skewed to the upside. This is something I've been saying for weeks, and especially over the next couple of weeks, I do think that XRP and a lot of these cryptos are going to be surprising to the upside. So just do keep that in mind. Of course, that brings me, guys, to the Coin Bureau deals page here. As you might have noticed, we were using Bybit, and we have a $60,000 rewards, up to $60,000 in rewards, I should say. For those of you who are interested in Bybit, we also have trading fee discounts on Blowfin, OKX, KuCoin, and Binance, which are, of course, some excellent crypto exchanges there. As I've been saying, guys, of course, these sign-up bonuses, you need to be a whale usually to take full advantage of them. But for these trading fee discounts, typically the minimums are pretty low. Even with just a few $100s, a few $1,000s, that's enough for you to take advantage of these discounts. Sometimes there's no minimum at all, and these trading fee discounts will help you out a lot. Even if you're just trading frequently with a few $100s, a few $1,000s, that's really going to help. It doesn't cost you a thing to take advantage of these deals. The exchange gets a new user, you get a trading fee discount, and we kind of get a kickback of those fees. So it's a win-win-win for everyone. So definitely check that out using the link in the description. With that being said, guys, we can now move over to Stellar. I was kind of scrolling through as always, trying to see, are there any upcoming catalysts that could take XLM higher? To be honest, there's nothing in particular that stood out to me. I'm sure that, some people who are really hardcore into Stellar in the comments will say that there's XYZ thing coming up. But again, guys, if you're someone who's not super well versed, which again, let's face it, guys, most people who are buying into these altcoins, they're not as deep in the weeds as a lot of you guys are. I'm sure that there's a lot of you in the audience who know way more about XRP, way more about Stellar than I do. But the fact of the matter is that most people don't have that same level of knowledge, and they're making their investment decisions, their analysis based on the stuff that's just publicly viewable, stuff that they're going to be, what do you think they're going to be doing? They're going to be going and also checking Twitter/X and just saying, oh, why is this crypto pumping? What's going on? And if there's nothing really obvious, then maybe they're going to think, oh, that's a little bit strange. But of course, in XLM's case, it hasn't really been pumping. But guys, what I do think is going to be happening here in the coming days, probably sometime next week, if I'm being honest, I do think that XLM is going to catch up to XRP. Of course, it kind of falls under that umbrella of these ISO 20022 coins, that whole narrative, banker coins or whatever you want to call them. And of course, XLM does have some shared history with XRP, with Jed McCaleb and all that. Not going to get into the details there, guys. But point being is I do think that XLM's headed for a big move. I just do think it'll probably come a little bit later than with XRP. With that being said, we can do our same super simple target math here. Of course, the starting point of this most recent move is quite clearly somewhere around 25 cents. The resistance is somewhere around 55 cents. Of course, that's a difference of 30 cents. So we just take the resistance, we add the difference, and we get a target of around 85 cents. And I do think that XLM will be hitting that probably by the end of the year. And it wouldn't surprise me in the slightest if XLM did rally up to the 55-cent resistance level on the back of like some XRP rally in response to the stablecoin. I know that sounds a little bit strange, but these cryptos have been trading very closely together. You guys might remember from a couple weeks ago when I was analyzing the prices, like I was pointing out, like look like the price charts for these cryptos looks almost identical, in terms of the move. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if XLM does go higher. But just do keep in mind, guys, that it's right now it's really sitting on the support level of around 40 cents. You can see with these wicks below. Again, we're on the daily chart. We're always on the daily chart. But with these wicks below here, guys, you can tell that a lot of people are basically buying that dip to accumulate essentially. So that tells me that it's probably not going to go below this 40-cent level. But of course, it probably isn't. That's no guarantee. It's possible that XLM could fall back down to the starting point, which again is not my base case. I do think the risks are skewed to the upside. Sorry. So in that case, I do think that XLM is going to be headed to that 55-cent resistance. And of course, from XLM's current price, that would be more than a doubling because, of course, right now, like the price is around 40 cents. So getting up to 85 cents would be more than doubling for XLM, which would be actually substantially more than XRP in percentage terms. So this is what I was saying, I guess, at the start of the video, that I think that XLM is going to be catching up in a big way. And I do think that Hedera is going to follow suit real soon here. As you guys might have heard, Hedera basically integrated Chainlink for data feeds. This is a really big deal, I think, because it's going to open a whole bunch of other use cases, of course, around like RWAs and a whole bunch of stuff, which I know that like Hedera is already involved in a lot of this stuff, but having Chainlink integrated there is going to help them out a lot. And I do think that in the coming days, you're going to start to see announcements of like Hedera partners with this or Hedera partners with that. And like, maybe some big institutions that now that Hedera, that the blockchain actually has access to the data they need, like to launch these products, that institutions will be like, hey, like we want to use Hedera, especially because it's US based and a whole bunch of stuff. I know there's a really interesting history behind Hedera. I'm not going to get into the details there. And I'm sure a lot of you know it much better than I do. And with that being said, guys, we can turn over to the charts here, and I do think that Hedera is going to see a similarly big move, basically on a similar magnitude as XLM. But of course, it's probably going to take a couple weeks to play out. I don't think it's going to happen tomorrow. Again, we're on the daily chart here, guys. So again, with the target math, we have a starting point of around 15 cents, resistance of around 35 cents. Of course, it gives us a difference of 20 cents. So we take the resistance, we add the difference, and that gives us a target for 55 cents for HBAR, which of course from its current price of around 30 cents I guess 27 cents. You're looking at around a 2x, which is the same as XLM. Just like XLM, HBAR seems to be trading pretty close to its support level, which seems to be between 25 and 27 cents. You can see again by these wicks here that a lot of people were buying the dip when HBAR fell below that 25-cent level and the 27-cent level. So it's possible, similarly to XLM, that if we do see a kind of like failure of this move, it's possible that HBAR could fall as low as the starting point. So just do keep that in mind. It needs to get above that resistance level. I probably should emphasize that with XLM as well. It needs to get above that resistance level first before we can start getting too excited about these targets. But again, if you're holding HBAR currently or XLM currently, don't be surprised if you see your position double over the next couple of weeks. And I do think that the chances of that are pretty high. Again, there's no guarantees. I do think it depends a lot on what happens with the Federal Reserve tomorrow. But this is something to keep in mind if you guys are holding XLM or HBAR. I do think these cryptos are going to see very nice gains. But of course, XRP is going to be the first mover as part of that category / niche or whatever you want to call it. With that being said, guys, that brings me over to the Coin Bureau Club, which of course I'm going to be shilling at the end of every single video. That's because we do analysis of like promising small cap altcoins. We do a deep dive every single week. The way that we choose these altcoins is we basically have a poll every single week that our members vote on. Our members also give us suggestions on which altcoins we should add to the poll. We also like to add cryptos to the poll that we found during our research. So it's like a pretty nice mix of like promising small caps. We also have a research feed where I'm sharing insights every single day, and other members of the Coin Bureau team are doing the same. We have a team portfolio page where you can see all the cryptos that we hold, as well as the cryptos we're considering adding to our portfolios. We have an exclusive deals page where you can find huge discounts on crypto trading platform. Well, not crypto trading platforms, but crypto analytics platforms that will help you with trading, is what I was trying to say. And of course, we do have a members Discord where you can ask us questions, and where I'm doing technical analysis every single day on Bitcoin and Ethereum and other cryptos. And if I had the time, I'll definitely do some TA on the cryptos that you bring up. But that's not something that we like kind of guarantee. It's not something that's included in the price. It's just something that I like to offer because I like to help out. So of course, guys, if you did make it this far, then I'm obligated to give you some alpha. So here's some alpha that I think not many people are talking about. Of course, you guys have probably heard or seen or felt or whatever that Bitcoin is really pumping a lot, even more so than other cryptos. And of course, Bitcoin is now I think like 107,000 at the time of shooting, and it's probably going to go higher. I think it's going to go to around 110 or 111,000. But of course, I'll leave that up to the other experts here on the channel, Mariano and Aaron. They know they're much better at Bitcoin analysis than I am. But with that being said, guys, what I find really interesting, and this is kind of similar to the thing that I've been pointing out with XRP and Hedera and these other ISO cryptos, is that even though the kind of the main crypto of that chain has been doing really well, all the kind of like altcoins within the ecosystem are still lagging a lot. In the case of Bitcoin specifically, of course, it has like these like BRC20s and stuff like that, which aren't like super functional. They're not like, necessarily all that interesting. But the one thing that is interesting and one category, I guess, let's say of like of higher risk, higher reward plays on Bitcoin that's been completely static is actually these ordinals, these NFTs on Bitcoin. They haven't budged a bit. Like Bitcoin has been rallying like crazy, but these NFTs, like these ordinals, they haven't done anything at all. Which is you can see as a sign is like, okay, maybe they're gonna do something after, or maybe they're just gonna stay flatlined. But it's actually pretty impressive, guys. Like I'll give you an example. Runestone, which I personally hold. Like check out this chart. You can see, of course, like the ordinals launched earlier this year, but you can see there was a huge rally, obviously a huge speculative rally, and it's just like completely flatlined. And this is the case for most of these ordinal NFTs. So of course that begs the question: is like, do you think it's possible that these ordinals are going to recover? I think it is, which is why I hold a runestone. And of course, it's pretty tricky to buy these. Not the runestone specifically, but like these ordinals are pretty tricky to buy, to be honest. But as you can see, like the prices for some of them is like pretty reasonable, like $40. Maybe just like a couple grand. Runestones I picked because it's not like it's not super cheap, but it's also not super expensive. And as you can see, like if it was to reclaim that high from the spring in BTC terms, then you'd be looking at around a 10x. And of course, if BTC is even higher, then you're looking at an even higher return in dollar terms, which is what I guess the reason why a lot of people buy these NFTs is because it's like higher risk, higher reward. You get the appreciation of not just the fiat price, but also the price in the BTC or ETH terms, then that's why people buy a lot of these Ethereum NFTs. But yeah, guys, like feel free to let me know your thoughts there. But I do think that these Bitcoin NFTs are going to do really, really well, and I think that they've been completely ignored. Basically, like people completely forgot that these things exist. But I do think that they were going to remember that in the not too distant future. Maybe not like in the next couple of weeks, but maybe in the next couple of months. This is not something that's going to happen overnight. But I do think that these NFTs are going to probably do quite well, and they're really going to surprise to the upside. Because man, like let's just use an example. Sorry to like really beat a dead horse here, but if we take, let's say, even the largest, like Bitcoin Puppets has a market cap of 170 million, but Bitcoin's market cap is what, like isn't it like over 2 trillion now? So it's such a tiny fraction, like especially when you compare it to the NFTs on other chains like Ethereum. It's like you're looking at market caps that are in the billions. And it's like even just to catch up to that would be, and even these Ethereum NFTs are still kind of beaten down. So even just to catch up to the Ethereum NFTs, you're looking at like a 10x gain, right? Which is for the Bitcoin ones. Of course, there's no guarantees, but it's really interesting to see these discrepancies. And in my opinion, it's only a question of when, not if. These NFTs will kind of catch up. We'll receive some of these inflows from the larger from the larger coins, I guess, technically. And in the case of XRP and Stellar, I think the main area to look there, in my personal opinion, is not necessarily the NFTs, but the altcoins, because there are some really promising altcoins there. And we're actually going to be reviewing one of those in the Coin Bureau Club this week. We're going to be reviewing Sologenic, which is, let's just say, an interesting crypto project. It's the largest altcoin in XRP's ecosystem, but it has a pretty, let's say, interesting history. And I'll leave it at that. But with that being said, guys, if you did make it this far, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, ping that notification bell, and I'll see you in the next one.